Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Seen podcast. And welcome back to another exciting season of the Just Seen motherfucking podcast. Yeah, I've been gone for a minute now. I'm back at the jump off. Nah. I'm gonna keep it serious. Because I feel that in my hiatus, in my time off between season 7, I feel like that I played too much and I wasn't as serious as I should have been with my podcast. Now I'm bullshitting. I'm being extra dramatic right now because we back. We back and we live, yo. Um Today, as you seen from the title, we talking about real niggas, traumatic euphemisms and shit. Um and the reason why I want to talk about this conversation is because it's like I don't think people really understand the depths of what a real nigga really is. And with real nigga, I just use that for the title, but I'm referring to real niggas, bad bitches, all of them, because it's like at the end of the day, there's a point where we have to understand that the realer the nigga or the badder the bitch, the more traumatic they are, and or traumatic their life has been, which led them to that. And I think that's something that a lot of motherfuckers don't get. You feel me? Um, for me personally, I used to be a real nigga, yo. I ain't even gonna hold you. I was a real nigga, but and all my homies was real niggas and shit, But I had to come to terms with the fact that, we real niggas because we traumatized. And like what really shed the light on it was when I paid attention to how, there was a time when they were like, yo, we say nigga to take the power away from it. And I seen women, using bitch, like, and it's like, damn, though it's like the worst the world starts to get for women, it's like the more they rep that they a bad bitch. And I was like, I never really seen that the real nigga from that perspective until because it's like, the realer the nigga, the more traumatic, the more the world beats his ass and shit. Like, you feel me? It was just little things like that. So I started to dive into, just the own understanding and, looking at the depths of what it was. And I had to start, thinking about the history. And euphemistically speaking, a real nigga, a good slave, and a good Christian are all the same thing. It's just that there's a certain level of behavior that is codified within the trauma that has been experienced and lived. And so with those three things, you can add the bad bitch to that complex as well. And so that's why we're here today, and this is what I want to start season 8 with, traumatic euphemisms, because over this time, I had some time to really spend a lot of time with my family, both sides. Like I kicked it with my dad for a whole 3 days and shit. We exchanged numbers and shit. We've been talking, like actually having real conversations this time, and it's different. But it kind of showed me like just spending time with him and my mom's side of the family and his side of the family and everybody in between was like, yo, there's a lot of trauma in our culture, and it creates two different realities. And the trauma that we feel and we internalize, it predicates a reality of our lives that I don't think we really understand because it becomes our culture. So we don't really see it as wrong because it's a normalcy. You dig what I'm saying? And I seen a lot of it. A lot of what's tied to real niggas and bad bitches is addiction of any kind, not just drug addiction. A lot of bad bitches are addicted to the knife, getting BBLs and all this other shit. Real niggas is addicted to largely drugs and shit, but real niggas is addicted to violence. You feel me? It's a lot of different things that tie into the culture, and it's just like at the end of the day, it's traumatic because, like I said, the realer the nigga, the more trauma he has gone through. You feel me? I like to look at my older brothers a realer nigga than me. You feel me? Like when I was, in that mindset, you feel me? Like, yo, my brother, that's a real nigga, bro. He a realer nigga than me. You feel me? And when I look at all the shit my brother had to go through to become a real nigga, it's like, damn, nigga, I don't want to be a real nigga no more. But it's a mockery. A mockery of it was made. Well, not a mockery, but a reflection of it was made in the Boondocks with Riley. Riley strived to be a real nigga, and it's like, bro, you're not even from. And motherfuckers be like, yo, you're not from that. You feel me? And Riley really wasn't from that. He grew up in fucking Woodcrest and shit with Granddad and Huey, and he was like, Riley, it was an episode where Huey was like, Riley was like, "What's my niggas gonna think?" He was like, "What niggas?" He's like, "Man, I got niggas." He was like, "You feel me?" But he was so busy trying to fill a void and trying to chase something that he would never experience because he wasn't in trauma. And that's something that I've learned. A lot of people talk about the culture. A lot of people talk about wanting to be, everybody want to fuck with the hood because of the innovation and all of the shit like that. Everybody want to somehow be, what I'm saying, connected to the hood. And the reality to being connected to the hood is that the realer you are, the badder you are, the more trauma you have. But as always, before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram _just_seen_ Be sure to check out my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of your podcast. Not this episode, but the podcast itself. As always, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And as always, that's that for this and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into real niggas, traumatic euphemisms. And don't forget to visit iamjustseen.com. There, you can get all things just seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit iamjustseen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit iamjustseen.com. You ever want to just chat with Scene about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit iamjustseen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at iamjustseen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit iamjustseen.com. All right, welcome back. Without further ado, we're gonna dive straight into it. So, real niggas, right? The trauma in the black community is crazy. And you have two sides of it. Those who run away from the trauma, those who decide to run away from the trauma, we don't call them real. We say shit like, "Oh, you scared to come outside, you ain't jump off the porch or whatever." But those who embrace the trauma and face it head on, they the real niggas, but they never heal from it. Real niggas, bad bitches, all of them. It's a part of the culture that develops. When I look at people, you feel me? Because when I look at people who are identifying and codifying themselves within these realities as, real niggas and bad bitches and all this other shit, it 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 derives from a certain level of pain that they have to figure out how to cope with. And the problem with the pain that trauma leaves is what it makes you do. So the addictions that we ultimately develop are really addictions to numb our pain or to stop our pain in some way, shape, or form. For some people, the pain, the medicine for the pain is to cause more pain. They become violent. You feel me? For some, it is, to try to achieve euphoria in a way that we've never had it. So when I always talk about like euphoric bonds and shit, and when I ask people, I'm like, "Yo, have you ever formed a euphoric bond with a motherfucker?" And they be like, "Nah, what's a euphoric bond?" Everybody's formed trauma bonds with motherfuckers, but why has nobody formed a euphoric bond? And in a way, you have. And I've observed it from women largely, men too, but we look at it as a reality that it's supposed to be, and it's through sex. A lot of us still cope through sex too, the promiscuity of it all, because that is one of the only times we feel euphoria. Trauma is bad enough, but euphoria is different because euphoria triggers joy. And when you live in a traumatic world and the only euphoria that you get, the feeling that euphoria gives you is through sex, you start to see how the world really, plays out, which in turn, that's how motherfuckers end up with addictions to porn, addictions to sex, and all this other shit. And it's hard to walk away from, but it's tied and rooted in the same shit. You feel me? Even down to religion. Most motherfuckers become addicted to their religion. Most people, I'm not even gonna say a lot. I'm literally gonna say most motherfucking people are not truly. They don't believe in their religion. They don't love their God. They fear hell, and they are addicted to the euphoria that it gives them, based off of the pain that they constantly feeling. It's almost a direct correlation between people who are the most heavily devout and the more traumatic their lives were. And it's because that gives them the euphoria. And it creates a different level of insanity, really, when you really put the pieces together, because on and on and on and on and on, no matter how worse things get, they go deeper into the church rather than solving their problems. They leave their problems the same, and they just get heavily involved into the religion to trigger the euphoria that they're feeling. I specifically paid attention to this in the church. Like, everybody swears they catch the word. Everybody, I'm like, yo, how come y'all never catch the Holy Ghost outside of church? Nobody, I've never seen a motherfucker catch the Holy Ghost outside of the church. But when they catch it in the church, it's because of the music and all of the shit. It makes them feel euphoria. As I studied, spirituality, um, certain spiritual contexts and shit like that, I've come to terms with the fact that a lot of the Holy Ghost, a lot of the shit it's euphoria. A lot of the stuff, like, and everybody taps into the same euphoria, whether it be voodoo, whether it be the Yoruba, whether it be ancient Kemetic shit. The real reality is that what quote unquote is qualified as the Holy Spirit is a feeling of euphoria. When euphoria takes over you, you dance, you want to move. It's what it is. You have a very similar opposite but equal in magnitude reality with trauma. Where euphoria takes you to a zen mood that makes you want to dance, trauma takes you to a zen mode that makes you want to be still, forces you to be still. The pain makes you stop moving. You feel me? But euphoria makes you want to dance, makes you want to move, makes you want to say things randomly. Like, you can't even control what you're talking about sometimes. That's the level of, euphoria. And I get it. Some people say they're speaking in tongues or whatever. I'm not here to get into that and argue with it. I want to stay on a real nigga topic because it all ties into this reality. There's an addiction. And the addiction in the religion is not necessarily the religion itself. For one, it's the book, whether it be the Bible or the Quran. It is the book. And it is also the idea of being able to escape. It's escapism. It's escapism. You escape to a world that says, like, this is okay right now because I know what I'm going to get at the end. You see what I'm saying? Rather than dealing with what's going on right now. But at the core of it, it all derives and it develops our culture in the same way. We become addicted to running away from the pain, or we become addicted to masking the pain. So it turns into something. We have, from the trauma, we get the devout, the religious zealot, or we get the religious zealot, we get the real nigga, we get the bad bitch, we get even down to the good slave. When we look at, because we got to go back to the shit, like when our trauma on a mass level started happening to us like this, was, Ma'afa, the initiation of the Ma'afa, whether you feel like we came from Africa or not, whether you feel like we were already indigenous. We was enslaved by motherfuckers for 400 fucking years, 500 at this point. But for 500 years, we were enslaved and traumatized with motherfuckers. So some people picked the way in which they wanted to deal with the trauma. You feel me? Some people said, to make the trauma stop, I'm going to join a religion, because that was the threat. Either you get down or you lay down. We're going to put the fear of God in you. Okay. Then you had those who, time goes on, and look, this is the point that I'm making. It eventually started with everybody going to get down and lay down, and they chose the religion. You feel me? And it was like, okay, if I just do this, then I won't get punished. I won't have to go through these things. I won't have to, risk my life or anything like that. And that's how, there's a book called How to Turn a Negro into a Christian. Go figure. Why Christians don't read this? Like, I have family that, I've, told them, read the book. I'm not reading that. Okay. You're a Negro that was turned into a Christian. And it's like, you have to understand your reception sometimes. This is one of the reasons why I always say, I never tell you to give up your religion. I tell you to understand it. Not just the book that you're reading in front of you, but every piece of the inception. Because when you and your enemy serve the same God, who's devil worshiping? You feel me? Who's devil worshiping? Because that is a traumatic reality that you're living in. Because now when we look at what devil worshiping is, it is honoring your trauma. We spend more time honoring our trauma than we do embracing our euphoria. Some of us have never experienced euphoria a day in our life. And we probably never will, simply because we don't understand the depths of what euphoria can be. You feel me? So from that one aspect, we have the religious side, right? And then what do we have? Like, we were it's a crazy reality because in that same token, that's when the promiscuity and shit really started to boom and the euphoria from that. So imagine you being in a breeding farm. They was breeding us. It wasn't like, you feel me, we was just enslaved people. We was enslaved people who were being bred like animals. You feel me? Bred like animals, homie. And that shit's crazy. Because in those moments, what happened? You feel me? So let's look at what it is. We have the breeding farms, and then we have like Mandingo fighting. And then when we look at fast forward and how we have violent men, promiscuous women, and promiscuous men, and violent women too. You feel me? These things became cultural and they became imprints of real niggas and bad bitches who were at one point religiously religious zealots. Think about the core to the shit. Everybody says the same shit. I grew up in the church. At this point right now where we are, I grew up in the church, I grew up in the mosque, or whatever the case may be, whether you're Muslim, or you practice Islam, you practice Christianity, Judaism, whatever. It starts off with the same root, and it somehow it deviates the same way. How does it end up traversing the point to where our women are largely viewed promiscuously? You feel me? Whether they're promiscuous or not, we view them in a promiscuous light, and we're viewed violently. But the realer the nigga, the more violent he is, the more traumatic his life has been because of the shit that he has gone through, traditional, conditional, and all of the other shit that's, heredity, all of this shit's passed down for 500 years. This shit's working on its own right now. You feel what I'm saying? But in addition to that, we still have, and then the fact that we have all three collectively active right now makes the culture heavily religious, heavily promiscuous, and heavily violent. Some way, shape, or form, we fall into one of those brackets. If you classify yourself as a real nigga or a bad bitch. And if you try to remove yourself from that, that's when you go into the religious side because you try to, I'm not like that. You know how many religious people were violent when they were kids? Or suddenly, I gave my life back to God, I'm back on. Like, nah, you got to realize what the core of that root was. Because the core is still there. That's why you was able to easily transition into this thing and feel guilty for what you've become. But it wasn't what you were already programmed to be. And you were programmed to be it from trauma. And men, we've learned to get our euphoria from violence. And they encourage us to get our euphoria from violence. Because what do? We play sports. We play bloody sports. We play violent sports. A lot of times, the most traumatic motherfucker, the most violent motherfucker is the one who becomes a star athlete, and that they push. You feel me? I never forget it. I was in the 7th grade, and one of my teachers was like, yo, you're too angry. You need to play football. No, bitch. I need to heal my anger. You know how many of my homies and shit just played sports and never actually dealt with the shit because nobody knew how to deal with the shit? And then we look at women and say, oh, she hoes, she this, that, and the third. You have those two types of realities too. You have all of the sex is sex. And it's supposed to feel good. Women naturally get horny and all of that other shit, but then you create two extremes because when you have the ones that are tied to the religious aspect, they don't really, they think that they're being, the good, modest woman, but they're really just depriving themselves out of fear. You feel me? Fear and punishment. You feel me? So they deny themselves of the possible and the potential euphoria that can get. And then they look at the girl who's the hoe. And they always say the hoes are the ones that are winning because the hoes are the ones that are seeking euphoria. It still comes with bullshit. Don't get me wrong. But it shows that as people, as a black people, our culture is rooted in the fact that our euphoria is tied to being violent or being promiscuous. And it shows all day long in the world and the music and everything we do. You feel me? Because in your quest to heal trauma, when you're not trying to heal it, you form addictions that can give you euphoria. But you've never experienced euphoria before. So you don't even know what you're supposed to be looking for, looking at. That's crazy. That's crazy as fuck. As a motherfucker who's like, as a motherfucker who's been through each one of these realities, the real nigga, the promiscuous motherfucker, and the religious zealot, you feel me? All of them had the same core. I can't speak for everybody else. I know for myself and from what I've observed from everybody else that it's the same thing. You're running away from trauma. I was always running away from trauma in some way, shape, or form. You feel what I'm saying? Like there was always some kind of trauma that I was running away from that I found within those things. You feel me? It did. It wasn't until I realized, like with sex, it was like, yo, this is this is the euphoria right here. I don't even want to fight and be violent anymore. I don't want to fight niggas because at the end of the day, that's a level of euphoria to win and shit. But your body physically hurts. Sex never gave me a physically hurting body. Religion, on the other hand, that when I went deeper into that, it really wasn't a euphoria that it gave me per se from the religion itself. It was the involvement of, the music, going into the music and hearing the drums and dancing and quote unquote shouting and all this other shit, catching the Holy Spirit, but only on Sunday. Why in the fuck can I catch it any other time? When I realized how deep it was, when I realized part of the connection between euphoria and shit was when the music of the church and all of that shit, the drummer shit, was when I was playing music, when I was making music. That was like the first time I tapped into my own internal euphoria, like making beats, getting lost in the shit. I could spend hours on end, days on end, just making the same fucking beat, just like because I felt it. It just felt good. And that was the first time I felt euphoria, and it wasn't in violence or sex or the church. But it gave me the same feeling that all three of those things gave me. So I was like, now that I'm older and I look back over, my life and the things that I've gone through and shit, I was like, I was addicted to that shit because those things gave me euphoria. When you are constantly, and that's the thing about addiction. That's why drug addiction is real. That's why drug addiction is so real. And that's why pain medicines and all these things are so easy to get addicted to, because they create a traumatic world. They create a traumatic world that you can't really escape from. And it's not that you have to escape from it. You have to learn how to process it. That's the difficult part. We're not really learning how to process this shit. We're running from it. You feel me? Because we don't have anything to embrace it with. So they put us on the depression medicines. They put us on all of these things because it doesn't give us the free reign to actually deal with the trauma, to avoid the trauma. Because some of the trauma we can't escape. We can't escape. In our culture, we deal with the trauma for a good 18 years before we can even make a move about it. Think about it. How many months? Like, you got to think about this quote. I've even said this myself. I've heard my siblings say it, cousins, friends, everything. I can't wait till I get 18. I can't wait till I get 18. Damn. You know how traumatic you have to be living in life to count the days until you're 18 years old. And you say this sometime before you even a teenager. 18. And then it's crazier because when 18 hits, you never come back home. You look out and try to find your family. You find in your tribe because you know it ain't at home. You feel me? It's so easy not to speak to our parents after we leave and shit like that. Why? Because it's a traumatic reality that we're trying to run from. But rather than healing it, we form trauma bonds with other friends, and that creates a euphoria for us in a certain way. But a euphoria created from a trauma bond, it makes that trauma bond stick stronger. So you could have lifelong friends and shit that are completely connected to you off of a trauma bond. It's crazy, but it's an addiction. At the end of the day, the core of it is addiction to euphoria by trying to escape your trauma. You can't. You got to heal it. And some of us have some of the most traumatic stories ever. 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 And it's crazy because it's like that trauma translates into our reality. So like I was saying, when I was at my family function and shit, I was kicking it with my dad. And this was like the first time we kicked it. Ain't no like, this is the first time we kicked it. Like in fucking since I was 11. So 21 years. And then it's like, as I'm sitting there with him, I realized one, why he wasn't in my life. I get it, Uni. You looked out and you kept it 100 with me. But I really sat and I understood why he wasn't in my life. As we were having a conversation, it's like, my pops is an alcoholic. Like, there's no way around that shit. Like, and he comes from a lineage of alcoholics. And it's like, everybody keeps trying to say, and I knew this was bullshit. They're trying to say, well, alcoholism is hereditary. It's not. Trauma is hereditary. because the trauma that you've internalized is the trauma that you give out. You feel what I'm saying? I had to come to terms with that shit. It took me 3 days. In 3 days of kicking it with my dad, I seen a lot of shit. And talking to him, I got to see that he didn't have his father. He repeated the same shit, but how he coped was through alcohol. You feel me? So bad that I was just talking to him yesterday at the time of this recording, and it's in him. He's like, "Yo, it's hot out here. You know what I mean? It's hot as hell out this motherfucker, man." And I was like, "You better drink you some water." He said, "Man, I got some Coronas on ice." Nigga, you gonna drink beer over drinking fucking water? I mean, yeah, that's how I talk to him. Like that's how me and my dad talk. That's this. I'm like, I'm a grown man. Like I don't have that that desire to wash my mouth around you. I don't have to. You feel me? But at the same time, it's like he don't make me wash my mouth. He just be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So we vibing and shit. I'm like, yo, bro, you better drink you some motherfucking water, man. He said, nah, I'm gonna be all right, man. He said, I got some Coronas on the ice. So you know what I'm saying? He said, yeah. And then he was like, the whole time we was kicking it over the 3 days and shit, he would brag about how, yeah, man, we've been at it since 6 a.m. At what? Drinking. Nigga, y'all woke up drinking? Damn, homie. What the fuck pain are you escaping from? So much so that it's not even pain anymore because you have numbed it so much that you have to use this to function. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that also showed me the other side, because when I looked at my mom's side of the family, I was like, what pain did y'all go through to where y'all cannot function without y'all religion? Not even the deity. The book itself, like the church and the book is like what they need. And it's like, I look at both sides and I'm like, damn, homie, y'all are all escaping pain. Y'all are all escaping the pain of your childhood, a pain that you couldn't run from. And that's what a lot of people don't get. Like, that's why I say it ties into slavery, because again, it was a circumstance you couldn't fucking run from. Imagine living in a household where you, as a child, you can say, I can't wait till I turn 18. But imagine being on a plantation where you couldn't say that shit. And now that shit translates and trickles down and goes down the rest of the lineage until Juneteenth. You feel me? But even then, you still got to deal with Jim Crow. You still got to do all these other things. And that shit is still in effect. The trauma is still in effect. To where it's affected us so much so now that we have real niggas and bad bitches. Real niggas and bad bitches. And by the time when real niggas don't want to be real niggas no more and bad bitches don't want to be bad bitches no more, they go back to church. That's the culture, y'all. This the motherfucking culture, homie. These things go all hand in hand. Like, you can't heal your trauma. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people can't heal their traumas, because what they do is, after the bad bitch and the real nigga decide that they're done, they think they're going to go to the churches or whatever and give up and, heal their trauma. They don't do shit but put it on the altar and take it in. And now they become addicted to, I got to go every Sunday. I feel like I'm not in church at night. No, you feel that's the only way you can forget about your pain. I can put it on the altar. I ain't got to resolve it. I ain't got to work through it. I ain't got to talk about the issues that I went through as a kid. I ain't got to do none of that shit. My dog, for real. That's crazy, homie. That's crazy to even sit and think about. And it's more crazy because I embodied each of those pieces. Y'all heard episode 200. That's how from this point forward, I could talk a different level of shit now because I got y'all caught up to me. You feel me? I was a violent motherfucker. I was a promiscuous motherfucker, and both of them things came to a halt at the same motherfucking time. And instantly I decided I got to go back into the church. I got to get back into the religion because I fucked up. Never was it about accountability. Never was it about, it's like, it was fear. It was fear. And then it was escape from the trauma. It's like, how do I fix it? You own it, but you don't own it. We make some kind of excuse, some kind of dramatic argument of, yo, this is just the way it is. This is how my life's supposed to turn out. This is all these other things. No, it's not. Who the fuck told you that? Who the fuck told you it had to be like that? So when you in a state of trauma and you just trying to escape it, logic is completely out the window. You really don't think about shit because it's gonna take you logic to process shit. Everything is about feeling, and your only objective with feeling is to not feel pain. Because everywhere you go, there's pain. This is our culture from integration and all this other shit. This is what the fuck it led to. So now it has reached a height where real niggas and bad bitches are running the game. So much so that everybody wants to be a real nigga and bad bitch, but nobody wants to deal with the trauma that comes with that shit. You feel what I'm saying? It's a lot of trauma that comes with the shit, so they rather run away from it. Every bad bitch I knew, every self-proclaimed bad bitch that I knew was a junkie, low key. And I'm saying that on the strength that I was a junkie when I was a real nigga. You feel me? Oh, because it was weed. Huh? Whatever. You feel me? I smoke it recreationally now, but at the time, I was escaping trauma. Like, that's how me and my girlfriend in undergrad even... you had me at Spark the Blunt. But we was both traumatized motherfuckers who had similar backgrounds of, oh, we was both in the church and all of these different things. And everything was the same, but we didn't pay attention. All of the details, a lot of details were the same, but it was the principle, my nigga. It was the principle behind where we stood. It was trauma. You feel me? Trauma. We were both traumatized by life different ways, and we were trying to find euphoria. You feel me? I never forget the moment I really started to pay attention to it, because it kind of like led me into how I understand certain shit now. Because she would be like, there's demons in this suite. Like, they lived in college, lived in suites. She lived in every room in that one suite, and she said, everywhere I go, there's demons there. And I'm being real, but at the same time, just like, yo, they might be on you. Like, it's in you. If everywhere you go, you feel the same energy, it's like, it's you. You feel me? But what is a demonic force? I'm like, yo, describe it to me. You feel me? It's the lingering effect of the trauma that you carry. I don't think people really want to sit and deal with that, because if we grow up in a religious family, they're gonna tell you that ain't nothing but the devil. You sitting on depression, you sitting on anxiety, you sitting on suicide, and they tell you it ain't nothing but the devil. So they put something on it to make you not face it. So you don't even have to ask questions like, why am I feeling like this? Oh, that's the devil. That's my answer. That's the devil. And now I run from it, because who do I run from? The devil. I don't fix my problem. I don't go in and try to get therapy. And it ain't nothing but the devil. You don't need no therapy. Go lay down. What they say, depress them dishes. That shit's crazy, yo. Crazy as fuck, because what do we do with trauma with that? We suppress it, repress it, and let it sit, let it sit, let it sit. And it ultimately turns us into real niggas and bad bitches, yo. And if it doesn't turn us into one of those, it's going to turn us to the religious zealot who can quote every fucking scripture, who can read every fucking Bible verse and every hadith of the Quran. Hope I said it right. Everything is about how much you can quote to justify the bullshit that's happened in your life without fixing it. For every moment, like, I got a little cousin, love of her life. You feel me? She mentioned that she may be suicidal. And these motherfuckers literally told her, you ain't suicidal. It ain't nothing but the devil. Now, she would have took her motherfucking life, because she had it planned out. They say when you're dealing with suicidal people, you know how real they are when they can tell you how they gonna do it. It wasn't just a simple thought like, oh, I feel like killing myself. She said, nah, she already had the plan on how she would do it. I know the depths of that level of suicide, because I had it too. And I couldn't really go through with it. Not because I was scared to go through with it either, but because I purposely would not give myself the resource that I had already planned in my head would be how I would do it. It's crazy because it broke my heart when I actually heard the song. I never heard this song up until that point, Thug's Mansion by Tupac. But like, I think I was like 17 or 18 when I first heard the song. Now I'm a Tupac fan. I had never heard the song before. But in the song he says, I cried times. He said, I cried times I once contemplated suicide and would have tried, but when I held that 9, all I could see was my mama's eyes. That's the only thing that kept me straight. Y'all heard the episode, but that's the only thing that kept me straight was knowing that I'd leave my mama in pain. You feel me? So I ran another way. I ran into music. I ran into making beats. I ran into other things because I had to, the trauma never stopped. I just channeled it into a different energy. I never healed it because I didn't know how. Nobody knew how. Everybody just kept telling me to pray. You can't see, that's where the addiction comes in because everybody keeps praying for the with the hope. There's no action afterwards. Eventually you stop praying and you start going to something harder. It's a gateway too. They talk about drugs, but all of this shit comes down to the point that we all have traumatic lives. And then trauma creates more trauma. We just passing on more and more and more and more and more trauma onto the next generation. So now imagine this, yo. I got to deal with my own problems and the problems that came before me for 500 years. The weight is heavy. And we deal with entirely too much motherfucking trauma because look at how heavy it is, yo, when we collectively take in all of this shit. And this is a quick tangent right quick. Y'all be some disrespectful motherfuckers because this is the problem with inviting motherfuckers to the cookout. They ain't got not a single ounce of trauma that we got because a motherfucker could dance and we gonna bring them to the, they don't have our fucking trauma. Our cookouts are because of the traumatic experiences that we had. That was our euphoria. You're gonna invite them to the very euphoria. The chances are they're the ones that are causing it. You feel what I'm saying? You're going to invite them to our euphoric moment when they're the ones that's causing the trauma that's making us need to have these euphoric moments. Blasphemy. It's pure, unadulterated blasphemy. All of that shit is blasphemy to invite anybody to the cookout. Because nobody will ever share our trauma. You know why? Because everybody's inflicting it on us. You dig what I'm saying? Any culture you stand on, any landmass, whatever, every culture, every ethnicity, there is a racial slur for black people. And we're still trying to fit in. We're still trying to be nice. We're trying to find some kind of sense of euphoria. This right here is kind of segue into the next week's episode of belonging. I'm going to talk about that too. But when you are stuck on trauma and you're trying to run away from it, everything looks good. Tying it back to me talking to my pops and shit. Like he kept talking about, yeah, man, I got stationed in Germany. I got here, man, and white woman was this and this. Oh, I looked him dead in the store. I said, man, if she ain't black, she whack. He was like, oh, stop talking about white women. But nigga, you talking about white women though. So this is the thing that happens with like, these are the issues. Same with our sisters. Oh, we're going to end up having a date outside of our race. So again, same shit. All of the trauma we want to run from because we don't want to face it and don't want to deal with it and don't know what the root causes are. So we're going to run to where we think we can find euphoria. Because on the outside looking in, we looking at everybody else winning and they're winning off of our demise. Y'all don't see that part. So we're not supposed to be attaching with them. We're supposed to be dissociating from them. But what do? We fucking integrated, my nigga. We integrated and then became their entertainment. Still with that. We've always been their entertainment, but when we integrated, we became the world's entertainment. What do? Play sports and make movies and act and do comedy and shit. And make music. Anybody else who does anything outside of that, we don't really know about it. You feel me? We don't really know about it. And they made it so easy because like we're going to inflict the trauma, we're going to dangle euphoria in your face. You feel me? Make you lose yourself. You feel me? I'm going to show you that euphoria is going to be found when you complete this job and get this education, get all these different things. Nope. Still not going anywhere. Still not going anywhere because I'm gonna remind you. I'm gonna post them on social media. I'm gonna flood the news, and another one of y'all are gonna die or some shit like that. We're gonna always continue to go through a trauma. This, excuse me. This is why when I say motherfuckers be like, "Yo, we need," you're not gonna get reparations. See, reparations is to repair against the wrong that was done. Keyword done. Done is past tense. They're still doing the shit. You can't pay reparations for some shit that you're constantly still damaging. Like, you feel me? We still got the tab. The tab is still fucking open. You feel me? Everybody else who has received that reparations, everybody, their trauma stopped. Ours didn't. You know why? Because ours is profitable. You know why? Because when our trauma hits, real niggas, bad bitches, what you do? You got to try to erase the pain. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go buy this. I'm going to go buy all of the shit that you deprived me from. I'm not going to create none of the shit that'll heal me. I'm going to deprive all of the shit that I'm going to get into all the shit that you deprived me from and give you all my money for it. Louis belt, Gucci belts. You feel me? Red bottoms. All this shit. We don't even know what we're doing. We think we stunting. And what do? You just try to you come back and show off to the very traumatized people that you just came from and refer to them as bitch niggas, refer to them as broke niggas, refer to them as, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is that you refer to them as, because quote unquote you made it out. See, we always talk about the crabs in a barrel. We always talk about the crabs in a barrel. Yeah, man, when you trying to get out, they pull you down or whatever the case may be. What about the motherfuckers who get out and gloat? What about the crabs that come back into the barrel shining? Sometimes the crabs in the barrel didn't have to try to pull you back in. Motherfuckers willfully go back into the trauma just to stun on the trauma. Look at my euphoria. I'm not going to show you how to get it. I'm going to call you broke. Look at the music. Broke niggas to the left. Like you wasn't broke before. Like you're not a part of a culture that is broke. Nigga, we're not a wealthy people. We're broke people. So when the motherfucker, and I don't mean that like to be disrespectful towards us and shit like that, but the system is fucking us up really bad. Like a few might get out every now and again, but it's like if all of us ain't free, none of us are free, my nigga. All you keep hearing is get into the markets, but do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? That's the reality of this shit. If all of us ain't free, none of us ain't free. So when we bring these euphoric moments, and you know what I mean? Hey, look at this bag I just bought. Okay, I'm going to go stun on niggas. I'm going to teach you how to stunt. I'm going to show you what it is. You feel me? I'm going to create the envy in you. You feel me? I seen this post a while back where young boy was like, again, motherfuckers not growing up in a trauma want to be a part of it. I don't care. Like, if you got a silver spoon, cool. If you wasn't raised in the hood because your parents made it out of it, cool. Don't try to worm your way back in. Because you don't have the trauma to sustain yourself here. I'm going to say that again. When you're not born of it, you don't have the trauma to sustain yourself here. You don't. So don't try to succumb to the shit because it's going to get ugly for you because you don't know how to maneuver through it. But tying it back in what I'm saying, so the bull was like, he said, why is it that the black people act like if you were raised in the suburbs that something's wrong with you or whatever the case may be? He said, look, you see this car I paid for, 720 credit score, something you guys can't even get. And that's the shit that we be talking about. You feel me? You want it to come back to stun on niggas, bro. You didn't want to come back because y'all, we got the same trauma and I'm trying to help y'all get the fuck out. No. You feel me? I like the way you guys show the culture. I like the way you guys hide your trauma. I like the way you guys, motherfuckers don't even know we hiding trauma. They don't even know we're running from the shit and we're so successful at creating shit and being creative. Like the hair, when you lack and you deprive, you create shit. But we're always creating shit out of trauma. This is another reason, like when you create shit out of trauma, this is why you don't have value in it. So we look at, oh, well, they're gonna steal the culture. They steal a lot of the culture and we don't fight for it back. Do you know why we don't fight for it back? Because trauma won't let us see the value in it. We didn't create this shit out of euphoria. We created this shit out of trauma. So when they steal something, it's like, fuck it. We be mad like, here they go stealing some shit, but we don't fight to have it back. We don't fight to stand on it because you don't appreciate what traumatizes you. You feel me? These cornrows, like when they said Kim Kardashian had boxer braids or some stupid shit like that, we didn't fight for the cornrows. You know why? Because it's tied to nappy hair. The trauma of nappy hair. Fuck it, let her have them. You feel me? Because when we wear them, all it does is remind us that our hair is nappy and y'all don't like our motherfucking hair. And that's not the motherfucking standard. The trauma. Everybody want to be a real nigga or a bad bitch, but don't nobody want to take the trauma that created those. You feel me? Even down to the religion side. I've seen white people try to shout. Can't do it. I was always wondering, like, why can't white people shout? Why can't they dance? Why can't they whatever it is? Because they ain't got the same trauma that triggers what triggers us to make us move that way. They never have it. You know why? Because they inflicted shit. So when I tell you, when you serve the same God as your enemy, who are you really serving? You feel me? This ain't just for Christianity. It's for Islam too. Both of these motherfuckers have atrocities behind melanated people where they've done horrible things to us. And we follow them. And we wonder why we stay in the states of trauma that we're in. We're repeating the cycle. Repeating the cycle so well that we can't get out of the motherfucker. You feel me? And we try to make ourselves oblivious to it. So we get we tried, integration allowed us to assimilate, to say, I'm one of the good ones. One of the good what? Light nigga, dark nigga, faux nigga, real nigga. Rich nigga, poor nigga, house nigga, field nigga, still nigga. And nobody really looks at the fact that the nigga comes from the trauma. The nigga part comes from the trauma. The bitch comes from the trauma. And we've embraced it. We've embraced it and we internalize it and we call ourselves it. I still say it. Look, conditioning is conditioning. You feel me? I've been using niggas since I was 6 or 7. Like it's been like that. You feel me? You can't certain things you can't just turn off until you understand how to turn the shit off. It's hard because a lot of us are still escaping. We still trying to run and we can't find a way out. We go up in academia and shit, we lose ourselves. I got a podcast episode coming on this shit too. We go up in higher in academia and we lose our motherfucking self. And in losing ourselves, we never regain control. And it makes us even hate where we came from. You feel me? You know how condescending, I'm only speaking for myself. If you felt like this, then cool, deal with it. But I only speak for myself because I can really validate myself. I despised the hood when I left it the first time. I despised it. When I went to college, I looked down on them niggas, bro. Y'all niggas had the same opportunities as me. Y'all niggas had the same problem as me. Y'all could have got out. Y'all could have got out. Nope. Because people run from trauma differently. People run from trauma differently. The trauma of the hood, poverty, all of that other shit, I ran from it to go to school. Because that's what I told. Like, you go to college, get a good education, all this shit, blah, 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 blah. You start to lose yourself. Because then you start to get this talented 10th mentality. Then you start to get this mentality that you're above those people. Because you made the choice to get out. You made the choice to get out. No, you didn't. You made a choice to run away from trauma and not heal it. And you mask it by having the degrees. You mask it by having the quote unquote good job. And then now you want to be in that quandary where You know you're not from that anymore. You're not that. But now you know that it's still in you every time you show your face. I don't want them to see the side of me. Y'all gonna bring my nigga side out. Y'all gonna make me. How do you say this right here professionally? How you going? You know what I mean? You can't have both. You can't simultaneously run from the shit into these arms and then say within these arms, don't forget what. No, you already forgot. You already forgot. And it's not that you forgot in the sense that, you know, you let it go. You was running away from trauma. A lot of us are running to be black is to continually run away from trauma. Think about it. Think about it. And that's why we low key envy the people who didn't run away from the trauma, embraced it, and became successful at it. You feel me? We make some kind of justification of it. Jay-Z got a song. Well, it's Rick Ross' song, but it's called Devil is a Lie. Jay say, the devil want these niggas hate their own kind. Gotta be the Illuminati if a nigga shine. Low key, I'm experiencing this shit now. I'm literally experiencing this shit right now. I get called a devil worshiper so much. It's not even funny anymore. You feel me? Motherfuckers, you know, yo, you use crystals. That's of the devil. But they don't even read Deuteronomy 28:5. They don't read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 21. Clearly, the motherfucker says, ordain yourself with crystals. Amethyst, lapis lazuli. It's a lot of the motherfuckers' name that I pop on right now. But they don't read that part. You know why? Because it doesn't help them escape their trauma. That's not what helps them escape their trauma. You know what does help them escape the trauma? Knowing that they ain't shit. Knowing that they are born sinners. You know how fucked up that affirmation is? And I don't even think we realize how fucked up that affirmation is until we euphemize it a different way. Here's what I mean by that. Motherfuckers will tell you not to call children bad because they'll grow up to be bad. If you're talking to a little kid and you got the elder, like, stop calling them bad or stop calling her bad because they're going to become bad. And then you start calling them bad enough, they start to exhibit bad behavior, go to school, exhibit bad behavior. What do you think will happen if you believe you were born a sinner? You were born a fucked up. You were born fucked up. You were born bad. You were born. And they try to just, oh, nah, you're born it. No, you're born sinner. And then what is sin? What is sin? Anything that goes against what God wants, correct? Or Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, whatever. A sin is anything that goes against what a deity wants. You feel me? You were born against what a deity wants, and you were created in that deity's image. That deity said, I created you in my image and fucked you up purposely. So much so that I needed to kill myself, who was my child, in order to absolve you of this shit. Or I have to send somebody who cannot read, who is completely illiterate, to tell you something to write down and codify. Because you are perceived to not be shit. And before we walk into a religion, we are walking into the religion as I'm not worthy. I'm a sinner. I'm sorry. I can't fuck with that no more, because that is the same thing as if you're telling a child that they're bad all of their life. You were told you was a sinner. You were born in a sin, so you got to be saved, baptized, and feel like I didn't have no choice. Imagine being a 6-year-old kid and being told you're getting baptized because you're a sinner. Because you're a sinner. You're a sinner. You have to get washed white as snow because you're a sinner. Well, what sin did I do? What sin did I do? You tell me what sin I did. You were born in a sin. You were born a sinner. I don't know what sin you did. You were born. Nigga, I just got here. Mind you, at 6, I'm, older, but damn, what was my sin? I don't know what my sin is. Everything is a sin when you don't know what your sin is, and nobody can tell you what it is, but you're just born into it. So damn, I came out the womb fucked up. Like, so was it my cry? Was it my first breath? What was it that made me the sinner? Again, the trauma. The trauma makes us run into shit. That's a traumatic thing. I don't think people really understand or take the time to really dive into that. But to conceptualize that you was born a sinner, and you were born a sinner, you're gonna keep fucking up. Everything you do is a fuck up. You literally look at everything you do as a fuck up, especially when bad starts to happen in your life. Damn, what did I do? Oh, damn, I'm a born sinner. I'm cursed. It goes from being a born sinner to accepting that you cursed. Don't no blessings come to curse motherfuckers. And you won't be, and you will not be absolved of this shit until you die and potentially go to heaven. It's a 50-50 chance because you could still go to hell if you don't repent for all of the sins that you committed. How do you repent for all of the sins you committed when you don't even know what the first sin was that you committed because you were born a sinner? Because to repent means to, basically apologize sincerely and never go back. But how do I never go back from something I don't even know what I did first? So when I tell you that a real nigga, a good Christian, and a good slave is all the same thing, and now we can add bad bitch into that shit, this is what it is. You perceive that you was born this way. My sisters, y'all got it like a motherfucker. Because imagine how many times you heard that you was a fast ass little girl, or that girls are fast and girls lie and all of the shit. You heard this before. You're like, what is fast? You don't even know what fast is when you first hear that you fast, that you could be fast, and all of this other shit. That's a traumatic experience that you already predisposed yourself to, and you already predetermined that you're gonna turn into a hoe. So one of the two things gonna happen: either you're gonna embrace it, as we see a lot of it now. You feel me? Listen to the music. Women just say, "Fuck it, I'm embraced being a hoe since I'm already like this." Or you have the ones that become the real modest ones and shit. I'm just gonna be abstinent. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna be a nun-like type thing, and I'm gonna wait until my man finds me. And what does the man look for? Not you. But then it fucks up the reality because now we've been teaching our sons not to fuck with the fast ass little girl, but the fast ass little girls are all that we interested in. And because the fast ass little girls are all that we're interested in, but we know that they're bad, we treat them as damaged goods. We treat them as we're told to treat them. They ain't shit. They ain't shit. So I would tell them motherfuckers like it wasn't rap music that said bitches ain't shit first. It's the religious side. Because you got to tie it back into slavery when motherfuckers was on the breeding farms. That little girl fast. She ain't fast. She was thrown into a pot that she wasn't supposed to be in. Nobody was there to protect her. You know why? Because everybody was stuck in trauma, scared of a motherfucker with a whip. That's the difference. Like I get it, because the atrocities that they did, I see how it could put you in fear. They had no choice but to do shit like that. But at the same time, what about the people who snap and say, you know what, you can't do this shit to everybody? Not at once. I seen this thing where it's like this elephant had grew up in captivity. As a baby, they put a big ball and chain on the elephant's ankle. Now the baby couldn't move the chain. The baby wasn't strong enough to move the chain. But this now fully grown pachyderm can now move the chain, but psychologically it wouldn't do it because once they put the shackle on it, it wouldn't move. Because its mind was already programmed from the time I was a kid, I can't move this. We in that now. Our trauma can't be removed from us, so we think. This is just the way we are. So it develops into a real nigga, bad bitch, good Christian. You feel me? I don't want to say good slave no more because we're not in slavery anymore. Like, we're not enslaved. So that's different. But to the core of it, it's all the same shit. And it's a cycle that goes on and on. Everybody want to be a real nigga, though. Everybody want to be a real nigga. As a real nigga, I don't want to be a real nigga no more. Because I understand what a real nigga really takes to be. Trauma. I was talking to this woman one time, man. We was vibing for a minute too. And when we first started talking and shit, she sent me the song. I got this thing. I don't know why. You feel me? But like, if a lot of times women will send me certain songs if they want to say something to me that they don't really, I don't know why they feel like they can't say it, but sometimes they won't say shit. And they'll send me a song or some shit and be like, yo, listen to the song. So the song was it was a song by Schoolboy Q and Janae Aiko. I think that's her name. Yeah, the girl from Post to Be, talking about groceries and shit. But in the song, it's like the hook is you that nigga, I'm that bitch. And I was listening to the shit like, this shit got lust written all over it. But I'm like, as we vibing and shit and we getting closer and shit, and I started getting closer into her. It's like, yo, you traumatized like a motherfucker. I'm traumatized too. That's why I can recognize your traumas. But You traumatized like a motherfucker. The difference is I know I'm traumatized. I'm not a real nigga. I'm not a real nigga no more. Because I'm healing my traumas now. But it's like you are running away from them. Feel me? You are running away from them so much so. And I guess we ran away differently. I'm not even going to, because in the time I'm speaking like this, but it's like, as I look at, I did the same shit with entrepreneurship. And I can't really say that it was, because it's like the traumas of poverty, the traumas of not having a father, the traumas of all of the shit that I had to heal from. I created something out of it. You feel me? And that was my way of I guess escaping and running away. But it was, I gotta solve this problem. You know, I couldn't get stuck in the pool full of liquor. You feel me? Because I had a moment where I got fucking drunk and I said, I'm not drinking anymore. Because it got to a point where it didn't burn. Alcohol didn't burn me anymore. It didn't hurt. It went down like juice. That's crazy as fuck. Like, what level of trauma was I continually running from, to where the alcohol that once burned is like, it's not even, and I'm not even drunk. I'm fucked up, but I'm not drunk. Like, I'm fucked up by the standards of how much I've drunk, but it wasn't the same. Because I couldn't get away from the trauma. And you drink enough, you feel like you forget it, but it comes back, and it comes back knocking it unless you deal with it. And this is where we at. And this is what motherfuckers want to be. Look at how we have made this shit so beautiful. This is why a lot of motherfuckers think we don't experience pain. The hospital system, the hospitals say, black women don't experience pain. Because look how beautiful we have made our trauma look. I'm going to do a moment of silence for that one and say it again. This is how beautiful we have made our trauma look. We've made our trauma look like euphoria, and it's not. And so people come into the culture wanting a part of the euphoria, but don't want none of the trauma. Oh, I grew up around black people, but you ain't fucking black. I seen this shit. White dude, little white boy and shit. He was supposed to be banging Crip or whatever the case. Maybe he rolled with some black dudes, Crips, and they did a drive-by. Black dudes went to prison. He got a handle. They said he was experimenting. He didn't know what he was doing. That's crazy. That's crazy. Because the gang culture is a part of the trauma that we develop. What happens when you have the trauma of being defenseless? You find a way to defend yourself, so you codify yourself and you make a click. They turned us against each other. Turned us against each other and shit. Like, shit different. It hit different, so much so that the trauma makes us want to associate with what gets accepted first before we associate with black. As far as the religious side, I've heard this preacher, she was a woman and shit. She said, I am a Christian before I'm black. No, you're not. I get it. A lot of people feel like, I'm my religion. No, you're nothing before you're black. You're nothing before you black, because you don't have a chance to make a choice or anything. Out of the womb, you black. Like, the moment that when a black man and a black woman come together, the moment the seed and the egg come together, that's a black baby. That baby doesn't know if it's Christian. That baby doesn't know, but that baby can look at the skin and know what it is. Off rip. But I'm saying that because the trauma of being black is so heavy that motherfuckers would rather be something else first before they be black. Because they found something that they could run away from the trauma to. And in running away from the trauma too, I codify that first and then I'm black, until the trauma shows itself again. Now I got to align with it, because it's like, you feel me? Think about it. Sit with it, yo. Watch it. Watch the game. Watch how the world is opening up and playing out right now before our very eyes. Is doing this shit in real fucking time. We run away from our trauma and we find ourselves in something else, and we still don't realize we can't get away from the trauma. Because this shit is designed to continually traumatize us. Because that's what everybody is building itself on. Everybody gets their kudos from. Everybody gets their rocks off of our trauma, except us. We have turned our trauma into beautiful things. We've turned our trauma into blues. We've turned our trauma into rock and roll. We turned our trauma into hip hop. We turned our drama into R&B, and we let them co-opt it all. It pisses me off to no end when I hear motherfuckers say Eminem is in the top 5. Fuck no. And niggas get mad at me, and as they like, that's messed up. He can rap. I don't give a fuck how good he can rap. He will never experience the trauma that makes us rap. Ever. I don't give a fuck. I get, oh, well, white people went through their own shit. I don't give a fuck. He's still white. He can take that shit off at will and go. Bubba Sparks is the perfect example of that shit. He did booty, 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 rocking everywhere. He got off of that and ugly and then went right back. He got his little residuals off of it and went right back to where he was. You know why? Because he doesn't experience the trauma. He doesn't have to. I don't give a fuck how soulful they sound. At the end of the day, they still Caucasians. They can take it off whenever they want to. They don't have to wear our trauma. They don't. They never will. So because they can never wear our trauma, I would never put them in a position that has elevated us based off of the trauma that we have we have used to try to heal from. Hip hop is our shit. Hip hop is ours. That is the trauma that we face when we try from, what was it? From The Message. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. You felt that shit as a black man, as a black woman. You've been close to the motherfucking edge, and a nigga better not fucking push you. Ain't nobody ever been to the edge the way that we've been to the fucking edge. Nobody. So nobody has the right, the wherewithal, or the capacity to come into our shit and reign supreme in that motherfucker. Fuck no. Fuck you. You are not up there. I don't care what nobody says. You do not have our trauma. And the motherfuckers are like, oh, it's not that serious. It is that serious. Because when that motherfucker want to pull itself out, they can. Nobody's going to look at them and say, okay, whatever. Eminem, Super Bowl time. Eminem can take a knee and put his fist up, at the Super Bowl, at NFL, and do all of that shit. But Kendrick can't say, and we hate Popo. Want to kill us dead in the streets for show. You see? This is why I would never put them motherfuckers up there. Ever. That's disrespectful. You are a guest in our home, and you weren't even supposed to be there. That's trash to me. Everybody want to be a real nigga. Everybody want to be the bad bitch and shit. Iggy Azalea, another motherfucker. Oh my God, she's gonna be the hot. She can rap. She see, that's the problem. They don't, and then they come into our culture without our trauma and try to run shit. That's why Kanye going through the shit that he going through. That's why his whole shit got fucked up, because you went on to a motherfucker who didn't have our trauma. And you gave her the fucking world. And you gave her passes she wasn't supposed to have. You feel me? As Jay and Beyonce said, I'm good on any MLK Boulevard. It is our trauma that makes us good on any MLK Boulevard. Hood to hood, it don't matter. When you share the same trauma as a motherfucker, you can relate, you can feel them. I lived in multiple hoods, and everywhere I went, I was comfortable. That's what pissed me off when I went to college and shit, because motherfuckers like, now y'all want to be tough. That's why it don't work for y'all. That's why y'all niggas getting robbed and getting beat with tire irons and shit, because y'all niggas ain't really about that. My girlfriend from undergrad, after we split, she told me deep down inside, I just wanted hood love. You had never experienced hood love. You grew up in you feel me? You were so disconnected from it. All you know is the euphoria. All you know is the way we paint the trauma to make it look like euphoria. That's so cool. The hood is so cool. It's not. Poverty is painful. That shit ain't cool. But then when a motherfucker feel it, I remember when she felt it. That shit was crazy, because it was like a slap in the face to me, and I still didn't see it. I think it was her first semester where she didn't get like compensated or some shit like that. No, she didn't lose a scholarship. Whatever it was something where she didn't have the money to, get through the semester or some shit or something like that. She was like, I'm poor. I have to eat bologna sandwiches. What? That's filling, baby. Like you talking about eating bologna sandwiches. What about motherfuckers who ate wish sandwiches? It's probably a motherfucker right now listening to this podcast thinking about a syrup sandwich. And not even both pieces of bread. One slice of bread and you got to make a syrup sandwich with it. And you're saying you're poor because you're eating a bologna sandwich with cheese and mayonnaise and name brand, like the good bologna. Oscar, your shit has a first name. And you had the audacity to say you poor. You know how disrespectful that is to a motherfucker who's poor? To a motherfucker who who had to eat rice with nothing else at times? To a motherfucker who, when they got bologna, oh, we about to fry this bitch up. It's about to be a luxury right now. This is about to be we about to make this a delicacy. You'll never experience that trauma. You feel me? But why everybody want to experience it? You know why? Because it makes them feel like they can reign supreme. You feel me? So you can be the crab that came back in the barrel and said, look at me now. I'm shining. I'm shining. You feel me? That same girlfriend, like her mama, there was a lot of shit about myself I would, low key be ashamed of and her mama would be like, why does he feel like that? And she would be like, I don't know. And it's like, because of the middle ground. Her mama was from the hood. Her dad was from a farm. Like, he grew up in a farm. Like, he know hard work. We know, I get it. So, but as parents, you're not supposed to make your children go through that. And they didn't. I'm not mad at them in any way, shape, or form. But at the same time, ensure them and teach them that there's a whole different culture that they don't know about and never will know about. So you cannot be a part of that culture. You are a guest in that culture because we took you out of the culture. You feel me? So her mom was like, yeah, she grew up in the hood or whatever the case may be. So me and her mama were able to relate. But she was like, I said, that's the disconnect. You didn't tell her that it's trauma there. People think when we make it out this motherfucker that is good. Nah, you can't go back into it until you understand. Like, one of my homies that I grew up with, the trauma is so real. One of my homies that I grew up with, I just found this out when I was down with my mom, pops and them and shit. Like, his house got shot up. Like, they shot his crib up. Mind you, my man's got 3 kids. But motherfuckers want to be in the hood. And he don't even live in the hood no more. That's the crazy part. All of this shit ties into this, bro. Sis, all y'all. We traumatized, and we have glorified our trauma to the point where it looks like euphoria to the world. So when we snap and they're, oh, but you made it out. Why are you still like that? I didn't make nothing out. I've escaped. I've done all of this stuff to escape. Escape from what? Because I didn't heal. I didn't heal this shit. I just concealed it. And I concealed it well. I continued to smile. I got all of these other things. The higher I went, the more. And it's like, because I came from the hood, when I actually went to schools and it's like, yo, I got to fight. I feel like I got to fight. And everybody would be, why is it got to be like, you can't say certain shit to me, bro, because that's not what we do here. Like, the time I was about to scrap, I thought I was going to have to fight in med school because the forceps slipped off and like some cadaver guts got on that nigga beside me. And I was like, oh shit, I got to fight this motherfucker. And so he was like, nah, it's cool. Huh? Because again, he was a black man, but he wasn't a black man who was a part of the trauma of the culture. So for him, it's like, and those are the people we be like, nah, they ain't really black. No, nigga, they ain't traumatized. We are. And it makes me mad when the people want to glorify the trauma. And they never were part of it. Nigga, I can tell you didn't come off the porch. Same situation in med school. There was a dude, he was trying to mesmerize the white people. Oh, that's so cool. That's so gangster. Oh my gosh, how did you do it? He's like, yeah, his friend got shot. And he said on the way to the hospital, he took the bullet out. Nigga, no, you didn't. I'm looking you dead. I know how that, like, you didn't do that. You may have them fooled, but I can tell you didn't do that shit. You ain't really about it. You feel me? I flipped out in the motherfucker when I was in undergrad because you feel me. Shorty told me, "Yeah, I'm from DC," whatever the case may be, and that's how I know like motherfuckers really don't be from. They don't be about what they talking about. They don't be from where they from. And even if you was from there, you wasn't in there. You feel me? Because we was in like the subway in the little corral of the calf and shit. I had a bag of chips. I squeezed the bottom and it popped, and everybody got scared. I get it. It was a loud noise, but then don't go further and say, "Oh, I thought that was a gunshot." You know good and fucking well a pop bag of chips ain't no fucking gunshot. Are your ears ringing? And I snapped. I got mad. This is my freshman year. I'm mad because it's like, everybody already calm down. Nah, fuck that. Because I hate posing motherfuckers. Like, you ain't that. You ain't that. If a bag of chips made you scared, you ain't that. Because if you really heard gunshots, a bag of chips wouldn't have made you flinch. You feel me? That shit crazy. That shit crazy to me. I get it. We at a HBCU and everybody want to, I don't want you to forget that I ain't black. Don't forget that I ain't black. It ain't about being black. It's about being traumatized, nigga. You feel me? That's what it's about. Most of the time I was in like school and shit. When I was in undergrad and shit, motherfuckers was like, "Yo, you always look like you on edge, like you better do something." Bitch, I'm traumatized and I'm trying to cope. Simple. Let me study. Let me stay the fuck to myself. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm coping. Because I'm from that shit. And then when you don't have to do it anymore, it's a beautiful feeling, but it's hard because everybody wants you to do it. Because now you around motherfuckers, it's like, you ain't, Yeah, man, because now you got to get in the shit with motherfuckers who ain't really about that shit. You feel me? And now this, I'm going to try to wrap it up, but this all ties into the same shit, though. The core, the trauma of what it is to be a real nigga, what it is to be a bad bitch. You know how many bad bitches carry razor blades and shit? That's why I don't care for these new motherfuckers who, "Oh, I'm a bad bitch because I done got surgery. I'm a bad bitch because I done got this." No, I know bad bitches. They know how to bust bottles and stab motherfuckers. They hit a motherfucker over the head with a bottle, they'll choke a bitch out. I know bad bitches. Y'all think a bad bitch is a motherfucking aesthetic. And this is why the motherfucking goofy motherfuckers be all fucked up. Because I wanted the bad bitch. No, you didn't. She didn't want the man like me. I know she didn't because you don't have the same fucking trauma. Y'all don't share the same fucking traumas, y'all. And y'all'll never get that shit. You feel me? Well, you watch anime and you geeky and all of this shit. Why they fuck with you? Because I got they trauma. You can feel when it's the same. You can feel what it's like. You can feel that shit. I grew up in the shit. Like, I grew up around that type of shit. I was a real nigga, bro. But when I realized how much of a real nigga I had to be, I said, not only the problem of you got to take your trauma and inflict more trauma. I don't want to be a real nigga like that. I don't want to shoot niggas. I don't want to kill motherfuckers. Those are the two reasons why I didn't get a gun, because I didn't want to kill nobody and I didn't want to kill myself. I'm mature enough to have one now. I'm healed enough to have one now. But then, fuck no, I would have killed the motherfucker or I would have killed me. That's how much the trauma was. Niggas now get like, and that's why they can, they can put on the shit where, the fake mask and shit and go shoot shit up, and they know y'all gonna go respond that night because it's the trauma. It's the trauma. You feel me? Nothing else matters in that shit. And everybody's trying to run and escape. Nobody wants to look at the hood for what it really is. Nobody want to look at the cultures of poverty for what they really are. Nobody want to look at none of this shit as the root of everything derives from the addictions that we have to trying to escape trauma. I stand on this wholeheartedly, and I go to bat with anybody from deacon, pastor, bishop, imam, whatever. Motherfuckers really don't believe in their deity. They fear hell. You'd fear hell too. Motherfuckers really don't believe in their deity. They fear hell. You fear hell too if you knew that hell was worse than the trauma that you're going through on the earth right motherfucking now. And don't forget to check out Pala Cafe Clothing
formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Paula Cafe Clothing.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, Derek. I'm low key, I'm getting tight. Cause this shit is like, it's devastating. It's devastating. Cause everybody wanna be the real nigga. But don't nobody wanna experience what a real nigga gotta experience to become a real nigga. Don't nobody wanna experience what a bad bitch gotta experience to become a bad bitch. Don't nobody wanna experience what a religious zealot has to go through to become a religious zealot. It's motherfuckers with so much pain that they consume themselves in their religion, in their books, and never healed their motherfucking pain. And it keeps getting worse. The other words like, well, he ain't done with me yet. He ain't through with me yet. All this other shit. You got to be through with you. You ain't even facing your trauma. You're running from it. So now you get dressed, you smell good, you go in and you dance and you do all the other shit on Sunday. You get around the people who, I don't want y'all to see my pain, so I'm going to show y'all my euphoria. Ironically, because one of the commandments is thou shalt not lie. As you're putting on a mask to appear euphoric when you're really traumatized. Crazy, right? Crazy. But that's a part of that's our culture, man. Addiction is heavy because it's like we always think addiction is drugs. Nah, addiction is our means of escaping trauma. And the moment we find something that gives us euphoria, that takes us away from it, we stick to it, especially the more trauma we have. People be like, oh, this person got an addictive nature. They don't have an addictive nature. They're traumatized and they're trying to escape. And when you can't escape, what you do? You find a way to create euphoria. Getting high, getting drunk, it creates euphoria. It creates fucking euphoria. And there's nothing really wrong with it, but hey, shit, you got to eat that. Because now when it gets stuck and you realize, damn, I've been chasing euphoria all of this time. Some people get consumed in books. Some people get consumed in themselves. Some people just close off from the world. You have motherfuckers who be like, Dad, you ain't really talk when you was young. We thought something was wrong. We just thought you were just antisocial. No, I'm trying to find a level of euphoria and I can't find it in all this trauma. And y'all don't do nothing but inflict this shit, so I don't fuck with y'all. It's a lot of traumatized motherfuckers that don't even know they're traumatized. It's a lot of traumatized motherfuckers living traumatic lives that they're masking with euphoria. Oh, I got a good job. I got a good car. I got these things, that, and the third, and I'm traumatized. But as long as I look like I'm euphoric, as long as I can make motherfuckers feel and make motherfuckers believe that nothing's wrong with me, I'm good. Nothing will be wrong with me and I will be good. That's a facade. That's a lie. And then we have everybody want to come into the culture. Everybody want to come into the culture. And everybody just inviting niggas. Because we don't even know what we inviting them for. Oh, you can do what we do. Come to the culture so you can bring some euphoria. You can't bring euphoria if you don't understand our trauma. Yeah, we keep inviting motherfuckers in. And what are we getting out of it? Getting our shit stolen from us. We getting robbed. We're not getting robbed, we're giving it away. Because when they come into the culture, they take our shit and we just let them take it. You know why? Because of the trauma, it won't allow us to keep it, to say let's keep it. And it's so normal that motherfuckers feel so comfortable doing the shit. It's a new artist. Her name is Aniko. I found her on TikTok months ago before the boom happened. But when she did the King's affirmation, that shit was so cold. I will be one of the greatest, just being real, you're just being honest. That shit was fucking cold.
Then the white dude covered it and they silenced her shit and said she wasn't even the original creator of the shit. And it's her fucking song. Her song, they silenced her on TikTok or whatever, muted her on TikTok and said they credit him as the originator of it. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you know, for a long time, now we fought it. When I say we fought it, I mean as people, we fought it. We fought it to where the BET Awards, Taraji, she came out like, we was fighting this motherfucker. Like, no, you're not doing this no more. We're not having our shit stolen from us anymore. They did it with rock and roll. You feel me? And they will put little plants in there. It's starting to get weaker and weaker, and they can't do it. They tried to do it with R&B. Justin Timberlake came in the motherfucking, didn't work. They did it one time with hip hop with Vanilla Ice, trash, didn't work. Then the Eminem came, still didn't work. You got your Post Malones, your Mac Millers and shit. When they snubbed Kendrick Lamar for the with Macklemore for Good Kid, Mad City, niggas knew what was up. You feel me? Everybody want to be a part of our culture, but don't nobody want to be a part of our trauma, because they can't be a part of our trauma, because they won't be a part of our trauma, because they are the catalyst to our trauma. And our ability to try to continually escape and seek euphoria makes us want a sense of belonging. This is how the civil rights movement even became a thing. The trauma had reached the point where we said, we just want you to be, we want y'all to accept us. Okay, well, we'll accept you under our terms. You got to fight for civil rights. No matter what trauma you feel, be civil. Go march. Go pray. Go do everything that we need you to do to not retaliate to us. I seen this quote, and I'm gonna end on this. White dude was talking to black person, and the black person was asking white dude, yo, why do you think everybody fears us so much? He said, because with all that y'all went through, if that was us, we would have burnt this shit down a long time ago. If this was anybody, they would have burnt this shit down a long time ago. And we fear the day that y'all really decide to burn this shit down. But at this point, we're the mighty pachyderm who only needs to have the ball and chain that shackled to the leg, and we don't think we can move it. We ain't gonna burn the shit down because we ain't gonna know what to do next. All we know is trauma. When somebody feels euphoria, we tell them to calm down. You too happy. You too this. What? Shit stupid as fuck. But that's our culture now. Our relationships suffer. Because all we can build is a trauma bond. We don't even know how to identify euphoric bond. We don't know how to fuck with euphoria. And that's what makes it all scary. Because when we see somebody, using euphoria, it's like, you trying to be white. You trying to be something you're not. I'm trying to be free. I don't want to be traumatized anymore. I don't want to go through pain. I don't want this shit. Ask any real nigga or any bad bitch. I promise you they don't want to live that shit that they live in. But it's all they know. And through that trauma, they have channeled that trauma to make it look like euphoria, so they do. Like I said, I was dealing with a woman one time, and she was a bad bitch. Like, really, real shit on everything. Bad bitch to a T. I was a real nigga with my shit. We came together, but we had an inner core where we decided this ain't really what we want. And then we started to see that we don't like the trauma that we have, but we couldn't work. Because that's all we knew. And that's the only thing we can bring out of each other. Because when the good shit happened, it would be crazy shit. Like, she had 2 friends, which is wild. This is what I'm about to say is wild. This is not like, I'm not trying to play sides or anything like that. One of her friends was black, one of her friends was white. They both had a conversation. She had a conversation with both of them about me. And the friend that was black was more so, girl, you know, you need to watch him because he probably fucking this one, he probably fucking that one, or whatever the case may be. Girl, don't do that. Like like told the real. Not the real as if, you know, I was doing that shit. But she told her what our trauma makes us tell each other. The white girl didn't have our trauma. She says, have you noticed that when you talk to him, you light up? Like, cause like she used to work her overnight shift and shit. And so it was like, it was pretty much to they self, like, you know, cause they was, you know, in like not a hospital, were they in the hospital? Something like that. It was a facility or something, clinic or something. But she worked the overnight shift. And so we'd be on the phone and shit. And it's like, one of the friends was like I said, she was like, girl, stop fucking with that. Cause, you know, you're gonna have to watch him too much if this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. And then a white girl was just like, do you notice how you glow when you talk to him? How somebody says his name, you just smile and just like, oh, you just feel different. She said he makes you really feel really good. She said he's teaching you things and you guys are growing. It was like, why? She asked her like, why don't you trust him? And then the other friend was like, yo, you can't trust him. It wasn't even a question of why don't you. It was just like, yo, you know you can't. And then one seed was playing and the other one wasn't. And so every time I turn around, it's like, yo, who's fucking it? Who's this bitch? Why she liking your shit? Why she this, that, and the third? Trauma. We have to live into a world where, because we have so much trauma, we expect trauma, even when trauma ain't there. You feel what I'm saying? And I said that with the white girl because it was like she doesn't have black trauma. So she can see things without a black traumatic lens. We got to learn to get to a point where we can see without the black traumatic lens. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Welcome to season 8, motherfuckers. I'm back. It's different. Told y'all I had time. I'm different. Shit has really changed for me on the inside. I've reached a new peak of self, and you guys are gonna see it all. But this is a part of our culture now. It's like everybody want to be a real nigga. Everybody want to be a bad bitch, but don't nobody want to experience the trauma. The motherfuckers who don't want to be real niggas and bad bitches, they already identified the trauma and said this ain't what I want. We gotta stop inviting motherfuckers in from the culture who don't experience the trauma because they don't know what the fuck is going on. But I don't know. I'm just saying, man. As I said, welcome back to season 8. Did I say 7 before? Well, welcome back to season 8. And yeah, we gotta change this, y'all. We can't be a traumatic culture anymore. This shit is hell. Our relationships are trash. Motherfuckers want to go half because they don't trust that this motherfucker gonna stick it through. You feel me? So it's like, at least invest what I'm investing in the shit if you gonna walk away. Motherfuckers don't trust each other. Motherfuckers damn sure don't love each other because it's all built off tolerance. Our culture, the love language of our culture is tolerance and embarrassment. Like, don't embarrass me and I'll tolerate you until you embarrass me. And by that same logic is, how much embarrassing can I do before you can no longer tolerate me? Just like children. Just like children with parents. What's going to give me a whooping? How far can I go before I get a whooping, before I get the worst possible punishment? We never stop that shit. You know why? Because it's the trauma from our culture. That's what has to change. So go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And at your discretion, you have to be able to be willing to teach your children about the traumas that we face as a culture. But they need to understand that the traumas are not them. That's not who they are. They can be euphoric. In the same token, because they do not accept the trauma, doesn't mean they have to belittle those who do or think condescendingly of them. Like I said, I used to be that motherfucker. Bitch, I'm better than y'all because I didn't graduate. I made better choice than y'all. I made this and the third. I made this and the third. Blah, 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 blah. I had to come back down to earth. I had to unplug from the matrix in order to do that shit because the higher up I went in academia, the worse it got.
the worse it got. The fucking worse it got. You feel me? So I be walking by motherfuckers and shit, and I be clench my wallet. Shit's trash. But being black is not codified by the pain and the trauma that we have. And we don't need to leave it that way anymore. But go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.